My name is Jonathan Parks, and welcome to Jonathan's Nature Crafts. I must inform you that I do not live in this house by myself, but live here with other people. Sometimes other members of the household may have to walk through areas where I might be recording with other family members on the phone. If you hear any noise like that, please feel free to disregard. We are doing our best to get noise canceling equipment, which may at least keep you from hearing exactly what is being said. Thank you for considering. Now, I have come along to tell y'all that as I've worked on these little buddies, there's little stripes that kind of go down the sides of the roads. I kind of already put in that kind of work into the pieces, and probably would say there was a thing or two here that it's kind of similar to, like, I'd say what you've seen when we did that certain other video where we did the Holy Family out of redwood a while back, and we kind of did it with the regular knives. I used this particular knife to do that step, but I say that there's comes times when we'll kind of move a little bit along here. I say just make little lines to go across the heads and put little places into them where we're going to sort of draw out what makes little certain lines to fit the heads right in. And I say we kind of got a couple of merry pieces here, and there's a certain step we do next. There's certain lines I've already drawn into the top here, but got a line to draw here on the side of the head, got a line to draw here on the side of the head, and a line to draw going down the back of the head. So there you kind of see what I say got here. And so put a little extra flare in, make this other little line come right along its way in to make the little head just go right about into its own place and show what we have for little designs, and come down to what we're going to do when we get down to the little project of itself, and just let's say make our lines so they're going to be come along a little better. Probably would say I might need to sharpen this knife just a little bit. Probably needing it. Oh, I say just kind of work little miracles that come right along, make it so we just see brighter little images come out of what we have and make and say and do. Oh, joys of work, I say, put in the kind of effort we making things. I say, like coming up with this. Sometimes, you know, if you carve a little mahogany. I'd say this is a genuine mahogany right here. It can be kind of like carving cherry in a way. It probably, I'd say, maybe has about the same density, you know, for what you do. And I mean, I'd say, you know, there were times I first started going to Woodcarvers Guild and kind of even had a perception that cherry was a hard wood to carve, and they told me no, cherry's good. And that very same day Calvin Grant was there, and he was carving a little, let's see, what's it called, a little sugar scoop out of walnut. I've seen the ways people carve those little sugar scoops at times and kind of wondered about it myself. I'd say that they probably weren't my particular type of thing to carve, but I say I like to get a little bit creative here and there, make things a little bit as to how they're going to be my way. And I say one of these days I'm going to get around in here and get a lot of these chips up, because I say there's just little mess coming along here. Just kind of got on my Facebook page and posted a few advertisements. Kind of got some ads up and running just to kind of show how I sort of made like my little Labrador retrievers, my new sitting French bulldogs, and my new sitting English bulldogs. So I tell you, and the thing of it is that, you know, there's just a lot of spam on Facebook these days. You know, there's all these little fake profiles. When they see you advertising your stuff, they get on there and they threaten you, like saying that they're an administrator of Meta or some part of the Meta service team, and like they're going to delete your page, accuse you of breaking rules you're not really breaking, and all the little strange things you say they can do. I mean, it's kind of a little awkward here and there, just the way that goes. And sometimes with me, I just get busy enough that it's the kind of thing I just don't have time for. Just don't have time to deal with it. So I might even start an ad sometimes, and once I've started the ad, maybe what I'll do is just kind of log out for a few days, log out for a while, just to try to avoid running into all those troubles that these people cause. And you see, I just got that little triangle cut off from that line and got another one to take it right here. So I say it's something that's best not to deal with, associate with, whatever we have to say or do, just to see what we have and what we make. I tell y'all that there's always going to be enemies out there, people who are going to be jealous. Some people are jealous of another's success and try to take it over. Some people, I say, they're just trying to hack you, steal from you. They make up all these fake links where they always just kind of say that, you know, you have to click on that link to negotiate with them if you're going to keep your page, and try to tell them there was some mistake made. But it's the kind of thing where when they do it, it's just a little scam they have to kind of try to trick you about things. I say, oh, the way they have of just making all these fake links, and I say all the things they make up and do just to try to hack your profile. Like one day last week, I say it was like I got a notification from Instagram that somebody from Pakistan hacked into my account. So I had to change the password. And that really tells you something these days, you know. There were the days I'd use passwords that were easy for me to remember, and, you know, times just changed to where one day people just found ways they could hack into the accounts of others and steal their information. So it started getting to the point where, you know, your passwords had to have more info, and I'd say I've taken advice from some people to get ideas as to how to have passwords that are going to be simple for me to remember, even if I have to have both capital and small, lower and uppercase, and a number and a symbol. It's just kind of how I make it work. And when it comes down to it, there might even be some where, you know, you might even have to have more than just 8 characters. Some where you might have to have 12 characters. And I say just kind of putting so many of them in a field. And, you know, it's like, you know, the thing of it is that people talk about what they require for passwords these days, and somebody kind of says, well, so is my memory. I say, for one thing, that simple things can come and go, and I see the reasons why they do a lot of what they do these days when it comes to asking you to create your own little passwords. I say that carving is wonderful. It's kind of like a little joy to me, and kind of just, I'd say it helps some of us relax. And I tell y'all, these little tiny chips, even the tiny ones, just kind of get to you sometimes. There comes a little moment when I'm going to get around to doing a little more. Maybe try to carve a little more ways into what I do. I say that there's always neat little nice ways we come up with all that we do. And I'd say of all places I've been this week, one of them was to McLeod's Coffee House, and there was a certain young man I talked with there. He's kind of special needs, probably in some ways similar to how I am, but you know, you come down to it and you realize in reality that some people, you just don't have any business knowing what their disability is. Some people, you just don't have any business knowing what their special needs are. I might be a person who understands my own, is willing to tell people just because I'd like to have some understanding, but there's others among them who, you know, may not even know what their own disability is, and so it might be a little bit harder for them to understand and know what they go through and things. But I say that for all this ability we get along with in life, we just say we are lucky and blessed by what we have and what we know and what we say and do. I say that it's just kind of the ways we know all things. There's times in life when they often say Christians shouldn't use words like fate and luck, but I'd say those are just common societal words, and we all just kind of see things from little different points of view, and all the things we work our hardest at to make something of. And I've mentioned to you several times before, Sarah Listy of Tool Girls Garage. She's been on that show Murder Flip House and been the host on there before. And I mean, she sometimes shares stories about some special needs in her family, but I'd have to leave that for her to talk to you about. I don't really talk about that stuff myself, but she just has good little stories she shares, and I mean, I've just been truly blessed by her and a lot of what she's shared in the media and little conversations we've had about how tough it is in life when you start to find out for the first time that you're kind of different, but you don't really know exactly in what ways, and how that it's all just something where when you figure things out for the first time, it'll seem a little unreal to you, and you kind of have to get used to the thought of knowing your realities about things. I'd say I was in high school when I first started finding out about what kind of realities I had and always would have, and it was all just kind of strange to think and feel and to know and to think about how it was. I was 16 and 17 and I was working a job. I was washing dishes at Pizza Hut and finding out for the first time how different I was in ways, and the ways that life could just be kind of crazy because, sometimes, just sometimes, you try to fit in at school and can't really understand why you're not really included. And probably at that time in my life, there were certain things about being disabled in ways I was just finding out for the first time, and probably coming to realize that I had a manager who hired me who was aware of those things. That's why he put me to the job of dishwashing. He could probably tell by my speech and my hand motions that there was apparently a little disability present, and probably already just kind of had a way of knowing what I'd be capable of. So I say when you get hired for jobs, some people will know what you see and what you look like, and they'll kind of realize the little things about you and know that they might see in you for what they think you qualify and what not. There's been many other jobs in other places where as I got older I tried to apply and couldn't really get hired because they could kind of tell by all my differences that I didn't really qualify for what I was applying for. And then again, there's just a lot of questions to ask. Sometimes, just sometimes, you might think it's just all about the benefits of working in a place. Sometimes the issue is just how well you can interview with people. And for all things I find out in life, there's all the good and there's all the bad that takes place over time in our lives. We just kind of make the best of things, whatever ways we can, whatever ways we know how. And I say, perhaps these little chippies that fall everywhere, there's no telling what they'll be good and useful for someday. But I say, it's getting about time to end here. Thank you for coming on and watching. Wish you all the best, always. That you may always keep in touch as we continue to work along this little show we have here and all we do with carving these days. And I say, best of luck, always, and keep in touch. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you in the next video. Stay tuned.